you are agreed upon to provide to the customer, you are providing that. It's not because since that is something which is good in the market, I take this up, I'll get good revenue. If you take up a framework just to gain the business or back the deal, and tomorrow if that framework is not sufficient to provide the results or the outputs which are to be given to the customer, how will you survive in the long run?
Okay, that's absolutely true. Because see, unless and until see again from that perspective, because that's just one point which I was addressing. So there are a lot of other reasons why we've already discussed. So
I would like to add to what he said. What he said was true, because if you actually participate in bids, if you actually participate in bids, or you participate in preparing proposals, client put this restriction, because believe me, almost if till now in last 1 year, if I have prepared say 15 bids, I found that in almost 12 bids there was a criteria like this.
No, that's okay. I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong. Very well said. It's a criteria. But what I'm saying is that the complete answer to his question was not this criteria. And I know you have addressed most of it in your discussion, but if we are asking, then at least you can give a small bullets.
What actually he asked is that he was trying to extract a sentence out of him. Right? Am I right? That's what he was trying to do. He said that.
So, sir, were you able to extract that sentence?
I think I will put the things in a very different way. What is the objective of having, the service management? Why we are doing? For the customer. And what customer want we need to do, right? So that's the entire giving of those particular very broader way. Okay. If you are serving some sort of X contingent of customers, if they require something, then we have to have those type of practices in our systems. If X, Y requires something, then we will do it actually. That's why I think all models are having this type of things. But basically, if you see the framework, it always talks about continual improvement, process sustainabilities, competency of the people. So these are the basic, the ground level things will always be there.
Always be there.
Yeah. So like when you are in Rome, you should be knowing Roman. So same thing, if client requires something, you have to wear those type of caps.
At the end of the day, we all know that both the frameworks are important, right? It's just a matter of debating what we are discussing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Please go.
This is a question, both of you. How does end-to-end service or end-to-end customer services maintain CMMI? End-to-end satisfaction or end-to-end service of that is fulfilled, I would say.
When we are talking about end-to-end service, in ITIL, if you see, even in CMMI services, both the models are addressing the life cycles from end to end, right from the strategy part, where you conceptualize your service and you identify the need that these are the standard services I need to provide to my customers. From there, how to design, to implement, verify, do reproduction, and then till the retirement of that service. So that's the way the service life cycle is, and it is the service life cycle, as I said, is similar in both the frameworks, CMMI services and transition. ITIL. So the service life cycle is the same. There is no conceptual deviation of the service life cycle.
From material context, what we say is we find websites are very good in many of the cases, and but ultimately you see the service go behind, and the services are pathetic. And so, coming from a practical contextual problem in many of them. So, coming from that perspective, the end-to-end perception of service is not there. You may maintain an excellent website, excellent from an end user perspective, but ultimately, you see the service, it will be bad.
See,
so from that perspective, which of the framework addresses this problem?
See, if you are specifically talking about the performance issues of a website, it may be because of your capacity issues, it could be because of continuity issues.
The question he is asking is from a point of view. So far you are discussing IT and the business. He is saying from an end-to-end service from an organization point of view. combined IT and business. So portal is a part of IT. It is very good, it is wonderful, everything is handled well. But when I take the services from that company, how do I ensure that I get a particular quality of a service exactly if I have to say correctly? So the marketing phase of our organization is beautiful with the help of a portal. But when I start taking the services from that company, what I am getting is of no value. So or it's not fulfilling my need, or it's substandard service.
Yes.
So it's trying to say end to end, how do I ensure with the help of CMMI SVC?
Exactly.
Okay, that's what the strategy.
You see, so here we are, as I understand, I would like to take the example. So we are talking about the IT services and the business services. The way I understand and see, whenever you try to give a new or a refined IT service to your customer, you are trying to achieve a business goal. For example, all the major banks, they said we will go online. So they used IT as a service to go to maybe new customers or facilitate the transactions through portals. So that's how IT services can support the business needs and the business outcomes. But coming to specific case which you are saying, a new customer joins because of certain campaign through IT services and then he finds that the services of the banks are of not very good quality. So if it's only about IT and IT services and IT not delivering, I would say yes, it addresses. But if you say IT delivering and then in the background the business services are not delivering, so that part is so that's not I would say coherent. The business service and the IT service are combinedly they are giving end-to-end experience to the customer. That is missing in both, I would say. I don't know if I address your concern.
Which framework addresses this better?
Then I would say it is CMMI services, because again we see the problem is IT in most of the organizations whatever we have today is very myopic. It was whenever in fact the SLAs that we have, even to talk about availability or whatever, we only talk about IT availability. We never talk about the business availability. First is in an ideal situation, why should we have an incident? Because the incident itself is not required. Like, from an end user's perspective to look at it, from a business perspective. So the next question is, okay, if it happens, how do we address that? So unfortunately, like in my view, because I have been interacting with different type of customers, so still today, irrespective of both whatever frameworks we have, still though we are talking about alignment and integration of IT and business, problem is still we are thinking of these two as two different elements, whereas the fact is it's actually one. Whenever you are talking about business services, what is that? IT is just enabling it to do it better. So from that perspective, it's just a matter of like if you can address that from a customer's perspective or a user's perspective, that like both the models can be sufficient. But again, it depends on how you interpret it. If you make it as this is IT services, this is business services, that is where the problem happens. You can integrate the two and say that okay, we are going to address the business problems. I think most of the issues that we face in implementation and convincing people about implementing these frameworks and that itself will reduce.
I think he's trying to ask whether how the end-to-end servicing can be go in terms of improvement. So maybe which process area something in CMMI or maybe ITIL is trying to so
You see, ITIL
so light on that which focus area or which process area which can surprise each question, because end-to-end service improvement with CMMI service, this is the process area will be able to take. In ITIL, this is the process.
Maybe I understand the problem. I'll take one example, and maybe I don't know if that would be close, which is coming to my mind. I go to a website to buy something. So the site is fantastic, good response time. I could, without any problems, I could book and I could buy. So that's the IT service part, which is very good. But the logistics part of it, which is not IT, has not able to deliver in time, or the packaging was such that when it came to me, it was the product was of inferior quality or destroyed or damaged or whatever. Fine. So now we are talking about business service, logistics and IT. Logistics itself might be using IT. But when you say end-to-end experience, my experience, IT service, I booked it fine, but I did not receive it well. So from a customer's standpoint, I'm not satisfied. But the way we manage within the organizations are silos. This is IT, this is supply chain, this is what. Now the answer, I think we are very far from that at the moment, wherein we could give an end-to-end commitment or SLA or quality of service, including IT and the business as well. So when maybe I am committing a delivery date, I should keep the things, ensure that business service is backing up what I am committing through a IT service. So I think we need yes, maybe as we said, ITIL is specific to IT. CMMI service could be taken up for other services, business services as well. So maybe I see for IT, or maybe as an example, for IT I may implement ITIL, but for business service I may go for CMMI services because it caters to the needs of other service industry as well. So maybe I can implement CMMI services there and ITIL only for IT. So maybe that will help. Something of that.
ISO 9001 also, when we look at the standard, the customer business service perspective, we can look at ISO 9001, where the entire thing is on customer focus and things like that. Customer satisfaction, customer focus. So in case of this business service, you should supplement it with ISO 9001. So actually it should flow from ISO 9001 on top, then IT services should come bottom, if you ask me, because ultimately all requirements are customer driven and customer focused. So ISO 9001 would be the first step, and then you backward integrate it with ITIL.
One thing was that I would like to add on this is that suppose if you have so many frameworks, like your CMMI framework for this, then the ITIL and ITIL, then I discussed about COVID prior to that. Then the ITIL, even COVID talks about the integrated PMP project management in that, and then Six Sigma is written over there. You know, what's the cost of implementing all these frameworks? Is it really viable?
No, that is the objective of this debate. We come out with the best framework and implement it.
I think people are hungry. I think we can continue the discussion if there is something very, very crucial.
Just 1 minute to what he was saying.
I would summarize that we cannot say this or that. We'll have to pick up and choose what are the best components we can have and integrate them and use them. I don't think one standard or a framework would help.
Correct.
You may have n number of standards and n number of frameworks, and as somebody was saying that because customer is demanding, then I follow this. I think that's not the true essence of process improvement and continuous improvement journey. I need to see whether this is going to deliver benefit to me or not, and achieve my business goals, because business in the end is important. Number of frameworks, yes. Who said business was easy? So for IT services, you have something for you may have specific projects to be identified through Six Sigma. For project management, you have something. Unless and until some university like Carnegie Mellon or some OGC decides to bring everything together and give us one framework. But I hope my son would see that.
Anyways, thanks for your time.